Hi, so this is treatment plan 2, and we have our client Maria, and she has left total hip arthroplasty. And so, based on her diagnosis of left THA, we expect the client to have experience pain in the left hip. She will have limited active range of motion in her left hip, so active range of motion of flexion, extension, and abduction of the hip. We also hypothesize that she will be non-weight bearing status, and so she will have limited functional mobility for going and doing functional tasks such as her self-care tasks due to her left hip. And then we also hypothesize that they will have difficulty with her self-care tasks such as lower body bathing and dressing due to like hip precautions. And lastly, we said she will probably have difficulty with sleep because of her pain.
Okay, so for our frame of reference and our model, for our frame of reference, we went with the biomechanical, because this is going to focus on range of motion, strength, and endurance for motor functioning so that it can increase her performance in her functional tasks to increase that range of motion, strength, and endurance so that she can more easily do those tasks. And then we want to do MOHO for our model because that looks at the person, and especially because she does kind of have a fear of re-injury. Maybe that volition is a little down, and so the MOHO is going to look at that volition, the habituation, and her performance skills, which are also going to be a little limited, as well as looking at the environment. And so changing things like maybe how she's going to do a task or changing the environment around her to really optimize that occupational participation and performance to increase her ability to do her daily activities.
So for Maria's concerns and deficits, we're focusing on the muscle strength and range of motion. So for the muscle strength, we're going to be using manual muscle testing as the assessment. And then for the range of motion, we will be using the goniometer. And the reason why we're going to be testing the muscle strength and range of motion is to see how much upper body strength and range of motion Maria has, so she's able to perform or even assist in any of her self-care tasks such as bathing, dressing, and grooming, and to also see if there's any limitation that she might have with her strength or her range of motion that might be hindering her from her occupational performance. Another concern and deficit is her difficulty with completing her ADL. So we're going to be using the GG codes as the assessments, and this is so we can assess to see how much assistance she actually needs when completing her ADLs. And lastly, another concern or deficit is her pain. So to assess her pain, we're going to be using the pain scale, and we're going to assess to see how much pain she's in and how much pain she's aware that she's in, so we can see what's hindering her occupation.
So for Maria's problem list, according to the GG codes, clinical observation, and client report, she does have lower body ADLs such as bathing and dressing difficulties. This is sort of inhibited by her pain. She doesn't want to move too much because of the pain. She does have limited range of motion because she has the hip precautions. And then she does have a fear of re-injury. She doesn't want to mess up her hip or have to have another surgery. And so this is kind of inhibiting her participation in these tasks and her performance. Also, according to the GG, she is mod A for bed mobility, such as supine to sitting, and then also sit to stand for transfer. She's also mod A. So this kind of is going to inhibit her. It's going to have difficulty to lift and transport herself to get to the sink or the bathroom so that she can engage in any ADLs such as grooming, self-care, things of that nature. Next problem that was revealed through Maria's evaluation, this was found in her manual muscle testing, that her left upper extremity has some weakness. It was a 3 minus, which means that she was not able to move her arm through a full range of motion against gravity. So this means for some tasks like bathing, she may not be able to use a handheld shower to bathe herself, to lift up, to wash herself. Same with dressing, she may have difficulty with maybe putting on a shirt or something. And then same with grooming, she may have difficulty with brushing if she can't lift that upper extremity through the full range of motion because of her poor strength. Then it is going to impact those functional tasks. And then the final problem that was revealed through her evaluation, this was just through clinical observation through the entirety of the eval, is that she did have low standing tolerance and poor endurance in standing. And so this means that she is going to have issues possibly with like lower body dressing. If she's going to try to be putting on standing to put on pants, she may, if she has lower tolerance, it may be more difficult.
Same with bathing. If she can't really stand for too long to be able to wash herself, it may be prove to be a little more difficult for her. And so that standing tolerance is another thing that is going to cause her issues with engaging in her functional tasks.
So after doing the evaluation, we determined that some of Maria's strengths is that she has right upper body strength. And this is a strength because then she's able to lift and move her body during like functional activities, like when she's bathing or grooming and using the adaptive equipment to like be able to hold them and use it as needed. And that's also why another strength is her functional upper body range of motion, because she's able to have more support and like range of motion to control her voluntary movements. She's able to reach or use the like adaptive equipment as needed. And another strength is that she's also determined to return home. So because she's determined, she's also motivated to participate in therapy. And then lastly, another strength is that she has elevators and wheelchair ramps at her apartment complex. So she has the environmental support when she's able and she's discharged from therapy and she gets to go home. So some of her weaknesses include having like fair minus or 3 minus out of 5 left upper body strength. So because she's fair minus, she's not able to lift completely or reach efficiently and move her left upper body to even be able to help support the right upper body in functional tasks. Another weakness is pain and edema. So with pain and edema, that's going to hinder her to even participate in her occupation and anything that she's going to be doing in therapy. We said that her fear of injury is a huge weakness because it inhibits her from fully participating in doing her ADLs, because she's insistent of like constantly using the sliding board or the wheelchair when she's capable of doing more. And then lastly, another weakness is that she does live alone. She doesn't have children, so there's not really social support when she does go home. Okay, so for our assessment narrative, we said that Maria is a 70-year-old female diagnosed with left total hip arthroplasty. She was admitted to inpatient rehabilitation for her left total hip arthroplasty. Prior to her injury, Maria was a healthy individual and independent in all meaningful occupations such as self-care, running errands, driving, and community participation, although she states that she did take a longer time in her dressing and bathing routine due to her hip pain. She's able to walk without an assistive device until about a month ago, when then she had to borrow a standard cane from a friend for safety, balance, and support for her standing and functional mobility. Maria does live alone in an apartment on the second floor, but she has 4 steps leading up to the main entrance of her apartment, and her apartment also has elevators and wheelchair ramp if needed. She has children, but they live out of state and they only visit her when they can. So for Maria's evaluation, the evaluation results revealed that her functional active range of motion is 150 degrees of shoulder flexion with no limitation at the elbow and wrist. And this functional active range of motion allows Maria to engage in tasks requiring upper body range of motion with little or no limitation in performance. Her manual muscle test revealed that she has 3 plus or fair plus out of 5 on the right shoulder, and then 3 minus out of 5 or fair minus of the left shoulder. And so her decreased strength in her left shoulder may actually limit her engagement in certain tasks, such as functional mobility, bathing, and grooming. Her right hand is stronger than her left, but they are both functional, and so it's not creating any barriers when engaging in occupations. Her evaluation also has her reporting that she has a 7 out of 10 pain in her right hip and has slight edema at her incision. So she appears to brace for pain during any movement, which could limit her participation, and that's also why she has the fear of re-injury. So despite that, even though she has partial weight-bearing status, she only uses a sliding board for transfers and manual wheelchair for mobility. And so Maria requires moderate assistance for both her bed mobility, which is supine to sit at the edge of bed, and her transfers, so from sit to stand. And so she is independent in all upper body dressing and bathing in a seated position using a bathtub transfer, but she's unable to perform any of her lower body dressing, such as lower body dressing and bathing, because of her hip precautions. So based on these evaluations, Maria will benefit from skilled OT interventions to work on her lower body bathing and dressing while adhering to her hip precautions. The use of the biomechanical frame of reference will help guide our OT interventions by focusing on her range of motion, strength, and endurance to help support her in her ability to participate in her bathing and dressing task. And then the MOHO model will guide us in addressing her volition and how she's motivated and how she's going to complete her occupational performance in her environment. And this is going to affect her performance skills in all her meaningful occupation, such as dressing and bathing. And this is why she will be seeing OT for 16 minutes a day for 6 days out of the week for 2 weeks, since this is an inpatient setting.
For this next activity, this is going to be an activity to focus on Maria's poor standing tolerance. And so these will be some tabletop activities that she'll do in standing. And it's going to be along the lines of like with her, it's stated that she likes running errands. And so we'll be using that activity that she enjoys. And she'll be able to kind of practice some activities with that to improve that standing tolerance for bathing. And so it'll be things like reaching, like if it's something up high, which will also focus on that poor upper extremity, the left upper extremity strength, as well as just her getting her to stand while she's doing an activity, so that it can translate into bathing for maybe transferring to a shower chair or a tub bench, as well as being able to maybe start standing and bathing to be able to wash yourself a little easier, and things of that nature. And so that was the explanation. This activity could be, maybe downgraded with just more breaks, or maybe just doing them in sitting. If she really has too low of tolerance, it'll get her we can do shorter times, and then to upgrade, just upping the time a little more to really improve that tolerance better. And so just to pretend that I am introducing the activity to Maria. So I would just introduce, ready, action. Okay, so Maria, the next activity we're going to be doing is we're going to have you just doing some activities similar to like maybe shopping. You're going to be bagging some items, reaching for items, putting them into different containers. And what we're going to be doing here is we're going to have you doing them standing, okay? And so I know you're a little scared. It's going to be a little scary maybe, but we want to get you standing. We want to be able to get you, maybe up and moving out of a wheelchair. And I know you get a little tired, and so this is going to really try to get that endurance for you, try to get you to stand a little bit longer, and it's really going to help you with your bathing and a lot of your other activities, to be able to do them easier if you're going to be in standing. And so just make sure you remember all those hip precautions that we talked about, really making sure you're doing everything safely. You can take breaks as you need. We'll see how long you can stand for, and then you can go back into your wheelchair and you can take a seat for a little bit, and then you can stand back up whenever you're ready to get into the next activity. So we'll start going through those activities right now.
for our next activity, we're doing kind of a functional activity with her. She's going to be hanging clothes, but this is going to get her to transfer out of the wheelchair to try to stand and work on her standing tolerance because that's a little low. And so this is going to be working on her fear of standing and wanting to get out of the wheelchair. And it's also going to help even with the hanging the clothes. She does have kind of lower upper body strength. And so this is going to also help with some strengthening as well. So that's the activity. Okay, Rachel, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to have you get out of the wheelchair for a little bit and stand up. Are you alright with that? Okay. Yeah, I know you're a little scared of it, but we want to help you be able to stand and stuff, so I want you to get that confidence. Okay. So I'm going to put this around you first though so that you can be safe. It'll help me, hold on to you in case you do lose any kind of balance. How's that feel? That feels good. Good, awesome. I'm going to come around and give you a little hug. Okay, tuck it in. There it goes. Alright. And so, what we're going to do is, you're going to, using the leg you didn't have surgery on in your hands, you're going to stand up, okay? And I'm going to kind of help you, alright? And make sure you don't bend this leg, okay? Alright, on the count of 3, ready? I did. Oh. I did it while I was going. Ready? Alright. Oh, get your feet on the ground. Alright, ready? 1, 2, 3, stand up.
Well, I'm doing it.
How do you feel? You feel good?
I feel good.
Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to walk over to this hanger right here, okay? And I'll be right here with you. But remember to, when you're walking, you're going to lead with your weak leg first, okay? And just take small, slow steps.
Okay.
Alright? So now we're going to turn.
Like this?
Beautiful. Alright, we're going to stop right there. How do you feel? Alright, I'm going to come get you the walker so you can kind of hold on for balance, alright? Oh, this thing is in the way. Alright, feel good?
Yeah.
Good? Alright. And so now I just want you to hang these shirts up. How's that feel?
It feels good.
Good? Great job. And then you want to take them down for me? Remember, if you get tired, you can take a break or...
I am getting a little
You are getting a little tired?
Yeah.
Alright. So can you back up? I want you to lead with your good leg first and kind of back up a little bit. Alright, good. And then now, same thing. Can you, starting with we're going to turn. And then back up. When you feel the wheelchair, let me know.
Do I feel the
Feel it? Alright. Now can you reach back and grab those? And then now we're going to slowly go down. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Alright, you can take that break there. Feel good? Awesome. Let me know when you're ready.
I think I'm ready.
Alright. And so now this time I want you to try, I'm not going to help you up this time, okay? I want you to get up out of the wheelchair yourself, okay? And so we're going to place the walker in front of you. And what you're going to do, don't pull yourself up on this, okay? You're going to push up using the wheelchair, and I'll be right next to you in case you feel off balance. But you're going to push up off the wheelchair like you did, and then you're going to reach for the walker, all right?
Okay.
Great job. And so now with the walker, you're going to move the walker first, and then your the leg you have surgery on, and then your good one, okay?
So walker, surgery, non-surgery.
And then same thing when you're turning. Great job. And remember, this is the safest way because you can't bend that leg too much, right? You don't want to push it backwards and you don't want to turn it. And so this is the safest way, that the way that you just did it, you're barely moving it, so you're not really bending it.
Okay. Do I take the shirt off?
Yep, go ahead and take that off. And we'll put them up and we'll hang them up one more time and take them down. and then we'll be good. You want to go ahead and take them down with your other arm if you're able to? If you need any help, just let me know. Great job. All right. And now we're going to get back to that wheelchair. And so can I have you, the opposite way, you're going to lead with your strong leg now. So go ahead and move back. And then you can move the walker back. And go ahead and turn safely as you can. And then go back until you feel the wheelchair. And then same thing, reach back for that arm. Make sure you keep that leg out and slowly sit. Great job. A downgrade for this, for the transfers, for the activity would just be more assistance, or she can continue with the sliding board transfers.
Okay.
The upgrade was the using the walker instead of the stand pivot. Hi Rachel, how are you doing today? So first thing that I want to do before we start anything, is I just want to go over, do you know about your hip precautions? Do you know how you're supposed to sort of, how to safely use your hip and things you should or shouldn't do?
I kind of do. I don't remember. Can you remind me?
Yeah, I can remind you. And so one of the things you want to try to avoid is you don't want to bend your hip or your knee too far, okay? You also want to avoid pushing your leg back too far. You also don't want to cross your legs. We can't cross our legs over. And then you want to avoid turning your toe in, okay? Because those things can hurt you and cause re-injury.
Okay.
So do you want to just repeat those back to me so that I know you remember them all?
So I can't bend going up, like bending this way, and I can't cross my legs over, and I can't go backwards on my leg, and then I can't turn my toe in.
Awesome. Good job. Okay, so Rachel, I want to show you a couple of things that are going to kind of make it easier to shower your lower body, to wash yourself. And maybe you've seen these things, maybe you haven't, but I just want to go over them and show them to you. So the first thing is this is a long-handled sponge. It's just, it's going to be able to help you reach down so that, because of those hip precautions that we talked about, because you can't bend, this is going to help you to wash your legs all the way down so that you don't have to bend and you're not going to hurt yourself, and it just makes it easier for you. The other thing, maybe you've seen it, this is a handheld shower head. Some showers just have them for fun, but it's because you may be sitting for a little bit while you shower. It's just going to make it easier to really, wash yourself so that you don't have to try to move around too much, or, maybe you don't get all the soap because from a normal shower head. This is going to be able to allow you to really wash yourself all the way around and really make it a lot easier. The last thing, which we'll get to show a little bit later, is we'll show you a tub bench that you're going to be sitting in, and it's going to help you get into a tub to be able to bathe yourself. And so, just before we move forward and anything like that, do you have any questions for me about any of these?
Oh, no, I'm good.
No, all right. Well, I want to let you have a chance to kind of look at them, see how they work, see,
So it's like this?
Yes, yeah.
And I just don't bend.
Just make sure you don't bend. Make sure you keep those things in mind. Don't turn your leg in. Don't cross your legs.
Oh, this does make it easier.
It makes it a lot easier, right? Less movement. Get to really wash yourself. Here, we'll go ahead with this pretend little handheld shower head.
Oh yeah, I don't have to stand for too long because I can't stand so long.
Awesome, great job. And that tub bench we'll get to show you a little bit later.
Okay.
This activity will be a simulated bath activity, practicing the transfer as well as using the AE that she learned, while also keeping in mind the hip precautions. All right, Rachel. So before we go ahead, we're gonna kind of pretend to take a bath today. All right, we're not gonna do it yet, just because you're still kind of learning how to use the new stuff. But before we get started, just to refresh yourself, I want to see you use it like you would.
keeping my leg straight, not bending it.
What else do you have to remember about that hip?
Don't cross my leg over, don't turn my feet inward,
Mhm.
and also don't go backwards on
Yep.
my leg.
Awesome. All right. And then this, our little handheld shower. All right, feel ready?
Yes.
All right. So, like we did over here when we got out of the chair to stand and also going to sit back down, we're going to go into this tub right here. Once you sit down, I'll give you a couple more instructions because we need to get over that tub. But first, I want you to get you sitting on the tub, all right?
Okay.
All right, so let me go ahead and lock your brakes. Always remember to lock your brakes whenever you're moving around. Ooh, whenever you have to get out of the wheelchair. All right. So whenever you're ready, remember how to, I'm gonna knock off the camera.
Push off with my arms and then push off with my strong leg.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Get up and then grab the walker. And then do you remember how to turn?
Turning using my strong leg.
Yes. Great job. And then now we're going to carefully back up, all right? And then kind of like with the wheelchair, when your legs hit this bench, let me know. We'll sit you down, all right?
Okay.
And with your strong leg.
Oh, I feel it.
You feel it? All right, and so now what you're going to do is with this arm, you're going to reach back and grab the tub chair and hold on to the walker, and you're going to just lower yourself, don't bend that leg, and I'll be right here to help you guide down. Great, feel good? All right. So now what we're going to do is we're going to switch legs just for purposes of showing. So this is going to be your front leg. Oh no, that's right. No, we're not. Never mind. So what you're going to do is using your leg and your arms, you're going to turn yourself into the tub, and I'm just going to guide this leg to make sure that it doesn't bend any way it's not supposed to, all right? And so let me come over here. And you just go when you're ready. How do you feel?
Good.
Good? Awesome. All right, and so now we're just gonna pretend like you're gonna take a bath. And so, what would you do first whenever you take a bath? What do you usually do?
Shampoo and then I like wash my body.
Shampoo, wash your body. All right, so here's like your shower head.
And I will get underneath. Right there.
Great job. And so now when it's time to wash your body,
This is great. I don't have to bend.
keeps your head nice and safe. So you don't have to worry about hurting it again, right?
Yeah.
Great job. And then if you want to rinse off, there's your shower head. Alright, so then whenever you're done, you turn the shower off. You can stay sitting, you can dry yourself off a little bit. And then you can go ahead and get dressed here, and we'll talk about dressing at times. And so then now let's get you back into your wheelchair, let's get you out of the bath. And so I'll go ahead and I'll help guide that leg out again, and just scoot yourself around the same way you did back in, okay?
Okay.
Alright. And then scoot to the edge. Good? Alrighty. So we bring your walker over. That close enough there?
Yeah.
Alright. And so stand up. And you remember how to use the walker going forward?
It's walker, weak, then my strong.
Yes. And get that pivot.
And then when I go backwards with my strong.
Mm-hmm. Go with your strong first. All right, reach on back and sit yourself down. Great job. Upgrades to this could either be even having her stand up in the shower to try to rinse off a little better, maybe even drying, and then downgrades are just more assistance, maybe helping reach a little bit more if she can. Even for the transfer into the tub, doing stand pivot instead of herself using the walker. That was therapy.